What's going on guys, Unknown Player here, and today in this video we've been talking in detail about one of the biggest features coming in Rise of Iron, which are brand new artifacts. So these are basically gameplay changing modifiers that are almost like new subclass perks. They give you new powers, abilities and features, and it's definitely a step up from how artifacts used to be in the Taken King, which are basically just still images of intellect and discipline, but these actually change the gameplay and they're definitely going to be a massive part of the expansion. So you get these special artifacts from a woman called Tara Khan, who is also the Cryptarch in the new social space, and these require an item called Iron Lord's Legacy, and also attunement, whatever that means. But you do certain quests and also journey into the Plaguelands for her to do certain tasks, and then she's going to give you one artifact per week, and they've said after 8 weeks you should be able to collect all 8 of them, so it seems like you'll probably only get one Iron Lord's Legacy every week, and that's how the kind of timing and spacing of these artifacts will work. They're also class agnostic, so it doesn't matter what class you are, all artifacts will work on all classes. But it seems like a major part of the endgame is going to be trying to obtain all 8 artifacts and trying to see how they change your character. So I'm going to talk about all 8 of the artifacts we know of and all the features, how they're going to interact with us in gameplay in both Crucible and PvE. And make sure you stick around, because after I explain all the artifacts, I'm also going to be talking about the 9th one and some interesting secrets to do with that one, which are really important. So make sure you stick around, because there appears to be a 9th secret artifact. So the first one is the Memory of Felwinter. Now what this does is it basically takes away your super, but instead gives you 2 grenades and 2 melee charges, and it's also going to boost your stats, and orbs will recharge your grenade and melee, so that's pretty interesting right there. Kind of a strange sacrifice. I'm not sure what they mean by boost to all stats, whether it's just armor recovery and agility, whether also handling or like weapon handling and also movement speed is in there as well. That seems to be a very strange gamble, not sure if it'll be all that popular. The next one is Memory of Gelion. This means you get a detailed radar at all times, which means they're very split and kind of segmented radar, and also a permanent radar when aiming all your weapons. So it's almost like the Knucklehead, and also Third Eye for free on top of this artifact. So the next one is Memory of Scory. This says glow with an inspiring light that speeds up the supercharge of all nearby friendlies. So good for trials and good for raid situations if you're close together. The next one is probably the most interesting that I have a lot of questions about, and this is the Memory of Timer. So this means when you melee a low tier PvE enemy, you'll make it friendly for 30 seconds. So very strange, and you can also do another melee attack to turn it back, which is also very strange as well. So this means basically dregs and vandals, obviously not a major or an ultra or raid boss. I'm in 2 minds whether I think this will be any good or not. I really need to see how it's going to play out, because if you watch any PvE ads fight each other, like shoot each other, like the Hive versus the Fallen, they barely do any damage to each other. They're not very good in terms of actually damaging each other, because they need to do some serious DPS to actually match what we can do with our own weapons. I'm also wondering, is there going to be a cooldown, or can you just do one enemy at a time, or can you just run around meleeing like 20 dregs and have like an army of dregs that are all friendly and fighting for you? They also mentioned you can melee a second time to make them snap out of it, but why would you want an enemy to turn back into an enemy again? That doesn't really make sense. Why would you want to turn it back into an enemy? And also, do your melee attacks damage the enemy when you hit him? If you melee a dreg once, you can pretty much kill him. A vandal, you leave him with basically no health. So I'm wondering, if you melee a vandal, is he going to be like nearly dead and he's going to go out and get killed pretty easily because he's weak? Or does these melee attacks not actually damage them and just turn them friendly? But definitely a lot of questions. I'm wondering if this is going to be a novelty, where it's actually going to be useful. So the next artifact is the Memory of Radagast. This allows your swords to reflect incoming damage from an ogre's blast to an opponent's rocket. So if you're getting shot at, your sword will no longer just block the damage, it'll actually reflect them back at them, PvE or PvP. So that's pretty cool right there. Definitely very funny. We also have the Memory of Perun, and this means that enemies will be highlighted in yellow if they have their supercharge, and if they're weak, they're going to be highlighted in red. I'm not really a fan of this, because it kind of gives out callouts for free, basically. I feel like one of the better abilities of a skilled team is the ability to call out enemies that have super, enemies that are weak, but this kind of does it for you, so it's kind of like an easy mode. Not really too sure about that one, but definitely going to be useful for sure. The next one is Memory of Yolda, and this means there's going to be no sprint cooldown, so you can bring your Titan Shotgun Warrior to a new level. And the final one is Memory of Silumar, and this dramatically reduces any damage over time effects. And they mentioned E3 Thorn, so basically any burning effects, including firebolts or the Taken Knights that burn you, is going to dramatically reduce it. So pretty funny they brought in a whole artifact just to counter Thorn, and it seems like they're very cautious about bringing it back. So now I'm going to talk briefly about how useful I think these will be in Crucible and PvP, and how I can imagine them actually realistically being used. So I think the Felwinter one won't be that great to lose your super for some extra grenades and abilities, especially seeing as I highly doubt it's going to stack with exotics to give you 3 melees or 3 grenades. I think it's going to be the least popular one. the Gellions Third Eye, the Perrons Easy Callouts, and also Scory's Faster Super. I think those three are going to be the most used ones in PvP. They're just simple, beneficial abilities. As long as the Scory one doesn't make you glow white and give your position away as if you're the Rift carrier, I think these are going to be the most common ones because they're just simply beneficial and they help you out. Also, Radagast's Sword Deflection, that's pretty cool. Not really much you can do if you encounter a sword, to be honest. You'd be pretty scared to shoot at it, so it could be pretty amazing depending on how much ammo it depletes. Also, the Yoda one, I don't think it'll be used all that much, apart from a lot of shotgun warriors that love to rush in your face. Being that blindly aggressive will most of the time get you killed, and it doesn't make you run faster or longer, it just means you can start and stop a lot quicker, and there's no cooldown. So better control. I think there'll be very few players that can put this one to good use. I think the Silumar one probably won't be used all that much either, unless you have someone really annoying you with the Thorn that you want to counter, but it is really awesome they've put that in there, so if someone is really annoying with the Thorn and burning you a lot, you can simply put this on and basically not have to worry about them. It'll shoot like a normal hand cannon and probably won't even burn you all that much. And finally, we have Timer's ability to turn enemies friendly. That's a very weird one. Like I said, I've got a lot of questions about it and how it's going to work, so I think it's hard to know if it's going to be useful until we learn more about it. So there is actually a 9th and hidden artifact which got a question mark on it, and this is very, very interesting. So only 8 Iron Lords actually died. There are actually 10 Iron Lords in total. The 2 extra are of course Saladin, who is still surviving, and also Efrideet, who you might remember the Efrideet Spear. She was a hunter who is a very good sniper, but evidently she is not dead, and of course she's included with Saladin as a survivor, but she doesn't have a statue in the Iron Lord's shrine. We haven't seen her, and Saladin always mentions how he's the last one and he's the last one around. There's no one else except him, so he seems to be almost ignoring her like she doesn't exist, but she's definitely not dead, which is the key thing to remember. So my theory is that Efrideet might be some kind of evil Siva boss. She could be a raid boss, she could be the final boss, she could be the host of Siva, but I think she is some way corrupted and some way involved with Siva, and she is evil. That's just my personal theory, but it seems to make a lot of sense. I mean, they don't honor her as being alive and they don't honor her as being dead, so it's almost as if she's being ignored, as if she's turned down a dark path and she is now evil. I'm thinking this 9th mystery question mark artifact could be either from defeating Efrideet in the raid, maybe it's from rescuing her, or maybe it's Saladin's own artifact, but something definitely doesn't add up with her, and that's a pretty crazy theory, thinking that Efrideet could be evil or could be a raid boss or something, but it definitely seems to be heading that way, and it's the kind of thing Bungie would do, a crazy plot twist. They've clearly labelled that only 8 of the Iron Lords are dead, and the 2 remaining survivors are Efrideet and Saladin always acts as if he's the only one left and he's the lone survivor of the Iron Lords, so I'm thinking something has definitely gone off about Efrideet, and the only thing Bungie have said is that we're going to be exploring the mystery of Efrideet in the expansion. So pretty crazy theory, I know, but leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think has happened to Efrideet, and how do you think we're going to be getting that 9th mystery artifact? Also, let me know which is your favourite artifact out of the 8 ones and which ability you're most excited for. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.